Hello, friends. I hope you're out wandering through nature, exploring the natural world around you. Do you enjoy writing about your wanderings? Nature journaling is an awesome, fun way to remember all the adventures you have taken and how you felt during those journeys. If you're looking for some beautiful journals to keep track of all your wanderings, I have several available on Amazon, including some guided journals for children. Start your journey in journaling by clicking on the link in the show notes. Keep exploring the nature around you and keep journaling all your wanderings. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Nature Wanderer podcast. Of course, I'm Paul, your host, and today I'm at the Erie County Forestry off of Middle Road in Sardinia. So it's a little entrance that not very many people know about. There's hardly any parking. Matter of fact, I was a little upset with the guy who parked there because he parked right in the middle and there's only room for 2 cars. But anyhow, I'm here at the forestry, just going into the woods and hugging trees. Yeah, hugging trees, thanking trees, and you may think, what the heck is Paul up to? What has he been smoking today? Haven't been smoking anything. Nope, didn't do any gummies or no. I am just loving nature. I'm thanking the trees. I am hugging them. I am appreciating them. I am out hiking with the woods. What do you mean with the woods? Don't you mean in the woods? No, I mean with the woods, yeah. There's a difference. Anyone can go hiking in the woods, but are you becoming part of the woods, part of the trees, part of nature? Are you part of the woods? I like to think I am when I go on hikes like this. And the reason I think that is because I'm actually going to go off trail, and I'm going to enjoy being with the woods. So I'm not going to be just walking along a trail. I'm going to stop and I'm going to enjoy the woods. I'm going over to this great big, looks like a white pine, great big white pine. I'm going to give him a great big hug and say thank you, white pine. I appreciate all you do for me. I'm going to go over to this other white pine, well, without all the sap dripping down the side. I'm going to do the same thing. Thank you, Mr. Pine. Thank you for all you do for me. Thank you for all the air that you give me. Yeah, so you can call me a tree hugger. I've been called worse. I've been called a tree hugger before. Yeah. And the guy who I was talking with, he actually called me a tree hugger to, I think, insult me, actually, because he was like, you tree hugger. I'm proud to be a tree hugger. I'm proud to be someone who takes care of nature, and that term has just kind of changed its context over the years. A tree hugger, well, I mean, where'd that term come from anyhow? Nowadays, we think of a tree hugger as someone who is, like a hippie and hugging trees and like, hey dude, this tree is great, taking care of nature. And well, no, I consider a tree hugger someone who just appreciates nature and will actually let nature know, hey, thank you. I come into the woods all the time. I come into nature and I say thank you to nature all the time for all that it has given us, all that it does for us. But where did that term come from? I mean, has it always been a term of endearment? Like I look at it, has always been a term of insult, as some people look at it. Those people like loggers who just look at the woods as money, profit. They say, oh, them damn tree huggers. Well, that term actually came from, quite a while ago. It was back in the 1730s when they first coined the term tree hugger. Back in 1730. And it wasn't a good situation. this king basically wanted to build a new palace, and to do that, and I believe this was, I'm not positive of the country, I tried looking it up, I couldn't find it, but I believe it was in India, and the king, he wanted to build this palace, so he wanted to build it by cutting down all these trees in these villages. And there was this one is a Bishnois branch of Hinduism. These Bishnois people had these villages, and there was this one village where they already chopped down all these trees and just to build a palace, and there was 294 men and 69 women of this Bishnois branch of the Hindus. They physically clung or hugged the trees in their village in order to prevent them from being cut down and used to build a palace. Now, unfortunately, because it was the 1700s, 1730, and the country they were in was not very kind, the king was not very kind, or prince, I don't even know what he was, but he actually, the foresters, I should say, probably under his orders, killed these people. Killed every last one of them. Yeah, killed them because they were blocking their progress. So that's where the term tree hugger came from these people, these 294 men and 69 women who gave their life so that, hey, they could save their village. But ended up where they didn't save their trees anyhow. But their lives were not lost in vain. There was a royal decree after that was established that outlawed any trees to be chopped down in any Bishnoi villages after that. So that's where the original term was coined, and then it just kind of has evolved over time about that. So when was the last time you hugged a tree? Maybe it's not your thing. When was the last time you thanked a tree or thanked nature? When was the last time you walked with the woods instead of in the woods? Now, ask yourself these questions. And you may think, well, why should I be thanking a tree? I'm hearing woodpecker echoes through the woods right now. A little bit windy today, but you don't hear it much in the woods here. Tops of the trees are swaying a bit. But anyhow, why on earth should we thank the trees? Take a deep breath. That's why I thank a tree. Yeah, the trees, the plants. I don't know if you remember back to science, but remember CO2 and O2, carbon dioxide and oxygen? Okay, we breathe in oxygen, and then we breathe out carbon dioxide. Who breathes in the carbon dioxide that we're breathing out? The trees and the plants. But the trees do a lot of this exchange. Sorry for pausing, I'm just listening to the echo of the woodpeckers. So the trees are doing a lot of this exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. And so without the trees, without the plants, we wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be able to breathe. Now, most people, I think, are shallow breathers. I know I am. You know, most people are, and why not? I mean, what good air is out there anymore? It seems like if you live in the city, you don't want to take too much of that in anyhow. I've got someone rustling behind me in the woods here. Sounds like a couple of chipmunks chasing each other. And there's a drumming in the distance. Yeah. Anyhow, shallow breathers, you know. The air is polluted. If you live in the city, you've got car fumes. So we should breathe shallow. And I don't think we really think about it, but that's what we do. When I'm in the woods, I always make a point of taking some deep breaths, taking in that fresh air. Yeah, all that oxygen that I'm breathing in, that clean, filtered air from the woods around me. So I'm really enjoying breathing in deeply whenever I'm in the woods. So, I mean, that's one thing I'm thankful for, one of the main things I'm thankful for. But also medicine. We get a lot of medicine from trees, from especially like the rainforest. Matter of fact, 25% of all Western drugs come from the rainforest. So if you use any kind of Western drugs, you should be out there thanking the trees. You should be out there hugging a tree, especially if you get to the rainforest. Hug the trees there. So we get a lot of medicine from there. What about cooling? I stepped in the woods and I could feel the temperature drop a little bit. Yeah, on hot days when it's really, really hot, I always try to get into the woods. My wife and I went out west, and they were having a heat wave out there. We picked the wrong time to go. And I always like hiking, so I wanted to get out hiking, but I wasn't going to hike in 90-degree weather. So what we did is I looked, and I found some trails that were in the woods. And in the woods, it was probably about 80 degrees, which is still hot, but certainly not 90. You don't have the sun beating on you. You've got all this canopy cover over you. It's like putting on an umbrella. You ever see people carrying umbrellas at the beach or out in the sun? It's to keep the sun off of them, keeps them cool. So that's what that's what the forest also does, is it helps keep you cool. Not just you, there's large scale cooling going on as well. Okay, what do I mean by large scale cooling? Climate change, global warming. Okay, remember the whole CO2, O2. Okay, well, we're creating all of this carbon dioxide, the CO2, from a lot of different things, our cars, our vehicles, the way we create electricity. And where's it all going? It goes into the atmosphere. I won't get into the whole climate change in this episode. That's not what I'm trying to get at, but trees are what we call a carbon sink. Okay, remember, they're taking in that carbon dioxide and turning it back into, filtering and turning it into oxygen for us to breathe. So trees are taking it in. The more carbon dioxide we're putting out into the atmosphere, the more trees we need to be that carbon sink. So they help keep the planet cool. So trees are an important way of combating climate change. So every time we are cutting down all these trees and clear cutting and using the trees for lumber and all that and not replanting, we're actually harming our planet. So I'm always advocating plant trees. I just finished the Trails for Trees challenge, where for every hike I take, up to 30 hikes during the month of April, Oboz Shoe Company is going to be planting a tree for every hike I take that's a mile or longer. So I actually got my 30 trees planted, and a lot of people are participating in this. And the reason they're planting the trees? Combat climate change. Now, another reason that trees are great and we should be thanking them is they're homes for wildlife. I mean, if you enjoy the birds, I'm listening to all the birds around me, and the squirrels, and the chipmunks, but the trees are homes for them. I'm seeing a big dead tree in front of me, a little bit off to the side, and big holes in it, woodpecker holes. Yeah, they're after food in that tree, so they provide food too, but also some of these really big holes, you're going to get owls nesting in them, you're going to get other animals nesting in them, the squirrels. So yeah, they're homes for the wildlife, they're food for the wildlife, fruits, nuts. Oh, hey, guess what? We get those foods too. Yeah, apple trees, orange trees, bananas, all sorts of nuts come from trees. So we get food from trees as well. So the wildlife, us. And if you recall my episode from a couple weeks ago, or maybe you don't, if you didn't, listen to it, about how nature heals. Forest bathing. Okay, it's great stress relief. I know when I walk into the woods, I always feel more relaxed. I always feel more comfortable. I always feel better. That deep breath thing again, yeah. Take those deep breaths, get that great oxygen in. The forest will heal you. So it's great for stress release, great for healing. And that carbon sequestration that I was talking about, the carbon sink thing. You know, one mature tree can actually consume 22 pounds of carbon per year. Okay, wow, that's a lot. So plant those trees. So here I am sitting in the woods thanking these trees, and you're probably thinking, well, why are you thanking them? They don't understand. How do you know that? I mean, trees can communicate. We always look at a tree as lumber, as, maybe shelter. But trees are living things, and they communicate. They communicate with each other, and I feel they communicate with us too. And when I hug a tree, it almost feels like it's hugging me back. Now you're thinking I'm crazy, but sorry, that's just the way I am. There's actually trees, they've done studies, and they found that trees do communicate with each other, and they help each other. It's a community out here of these trees. So the signals are going through the roots. But some people have actually termed, I think this is funny, the Wood Wide Web. Yeah, it's the Wood Wide Web. So not the World Wide Web, it's the Wood Wide Web. Because there's like under the ground, underneath me right now, there's just a network of roots just intertwining with each other, and they're actually communicating through these roots. They're sending signals. There's what we call, got a wind coming here. Hope that's not too noisy. Nice breeze coming through. Yeah, we got unfortunately, a cold front coming in. So I'm supposed to get a little bit of rain tonight. But anyhow, back to the roots and communication. There's what we call mycorrhizal networks. Okay, what's mycorrhizal? Okay, mycorrhizal is fungal. Okay, it's a fungus. So you have these fungal networks underneath the ground. And these fungal networks share water, they share nutrients, and through this network, the trees are sending signals. They're sending messages to each other through this mycorrhizal network. They can actually warn other trees about insect attacks. So if one tree is getting attacked by insects, it's going to send a signal to the trees around it so that they can put up their defenses better against those insects. And you're thinking this is crazy? Hey, like I said, they've done studies and they found that this is what's happening out there. They can actually assist other trees with disease, with drought. It's like, oh, that tree is, a young tree and it's not doing so well because we're having a drought, and, they will actually share some of their moisture, some of their water with that tree, just to keep it alive. So they're actually helping each other through this underground World Wide Web, Wood Wide Web. They're helping each other, not just communicating, not just talking, but sending, nutrients to each other when they're in need or if they're sick. They have found that some trees will, if they're sick, they will not just send a message to the other trees that, hey, I'm not doing so well, you may want to watch out. But the other trees will send nutrients to that tree to try to help it to get better, to help it out. So essentially what's happening here is a symbiotic relationship. Symbiosis, symbiotic relationships are one organism helping another in a mutualistic way. So symbiosis. The fungi are getting the sugars from the tree. Okay, so the fungi are getting all these sugars, nutrients that they need from the trees through, photosynthesis. Trees are having the sugars go down into their roots, and it's going to these fungi. Then the fungi are the scavengers under the ground and grabbing nutrients from around them and pulling them in and basically giving them to the trees. So they're helping each other out under the ground. We don't even see this happening, but every time you walk through the woods or walk with the woods, you actually have all of this going on underneath your feet. Now, unfortunately, most people don't understand this. They look at trees as money, and therefore there's a lot of deforestation going on. So a lot of trees are being cut down for our use. We're already using them. Breathing, food. Why are we cutting them down? No, because we need to build houses, because we need to Other things, paper. We need, well, every year more than 15 billion trees get cut down. Deforestation. Yeah, we're cutting down all these trees, and we need these trees for climate change especially, and for breathing. Okay, those are the two main reasons. But anyhow, the main causes of this deforestation, well, lumber, paper products, yeah, building houses, building things out of wood, and the paper industry. It's amazing how much paper we use. Think about it. When you gift wrap things. I actually ran across, someone in my wife's pottery shop, and she was buying some pottery as a gift for a wedding shower. And she says, "Oh, don't worry about wrapping them up too much." She says, "We're just going to be unwrapping them and putting them on the table. We don't wrap them up anymore at showers." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah." She says that's a new thing with showers. They don't wrap the gifts. It's like, so there's no surprise anymore. It's just put them out on a table, and the bride-to-be comes up and, just takes the gift and looks at it and thanks everybody. And so it's like, I'm thinking, awesome. Yeah, saves on paper, it saves on wrapping. But yeah, Christmas time, special events, we go through so much paper. Greeting cards, I haven't used a greeting card. I haven't written a greeting card, sent a greeting card in years. It's been a long time. And it's just a waste of paper. So, but anyhow, that's the main reason for deforestation is paper products, lumber. Okay, heating fuel and charcoal is another reason. Okay, agriculture, they're cutting down forests, especially down in South America, to clear it for agriculture, to plant. And the rainforest, that soil is so nutrient unrich. The top layer, top few inches is heavy in nutrients, but underneath that, it's not a lot. Yeah, not in the rainforest. And so their crops are not lasting very long. You maybe have a few years, and then you have to add nutrients to the soil to get the crops to grow. So they're cutting down to clear for agriculture. They're also cutting trees down for mining, clear land for mining, expansion. There's overpopulation. We need to make our cities and villages bigger, so we got to cut down the trees to do that. Climate change. It's getting warmer out there, which means more wildfires, storm surges, droughts. That's killing forests too. 95% of deforestation actually happens in the tropics. That's just amazing. 95%. It's only 5% happening elsewhere. Most of it's happening down in the tropics. So it's a shame. Well, what can you do to stop this deforestation? Well, first of all, you can reduce the use of wood products. So think about what you are using wood for, paper, building something out of wood. Maybe build your house out of steel or something else next time, or don't build a house, just buy a house that's there already. So think about what paper you're using. Think about taking, a canvas bag into the store instead of asking for a paper bag or nasty plastic bag, but we're talking wood here, so don't get paper bags at the store. Go meat free, and you're thinking, what on earth does that have to do with it? Remember, they're cutting down forests to plant crops, also to raise livestock, or to plant the crops to feed the livestock. They're cutting down forests for this. So if you are eating meat, you're actually contributing to deforestation. So go meat free, or at least cut back. I always used to promote meatless Mondays. If you can go one day a week without meat, it makes a difference. What about smart purchases? Yeah, packaging. Yeah, think about what you're purchasing. Is it made of paper? Is it made of wood? Is it going to be cutting down trees? If it is, think about buying something different that isn't harming the forest. And think about the packaging. Oh, I hate going into stores and seeing the amount of packaging that they put on things. They use all this packaging. If you shop Amazon, I shop Amazon. I know you can yell at me if you want, but I shop Amazon. And when I do, they have the option of as few packages as possible, I always click that little button. I can wait. I don't need to have, 3 packages come in 3 days. No, 1 package with everything in it. Usually we have in our cart a bunch of things, and it's like, yeah, we don't need it yet. We can sit here until we get more things in the cart. So it all comes in 1 box instead of 3 different boxes. Also saves on fuel. You don't have the truck coming to your door every day. So, smart purchases, packaging, paper use. I mentioned about the wedding shower. I think that's a great idea. We usually at Christmas time try to use recycled paper, or we use gift bags because we can use the gift bags over and over again each year. So think about all the different ways that you can save trees. And another big thing, plant trees. And you're probably thinking, I live in an apartment in the middle of the city. I can't plant a tree, Paul. Or maybe you don't have room on your property to plant trees. That's okay. You can still plant trees. You can donate to some different places, organizations that will plant trees for you. Like I said, I just did the Trails for Trees challenge. So I had 30 trees planted in my name this month. I think that's pretty awesome. And there were over 2,000 people who participated in this challenge. Most of them aren't done yet. I mean, we're getting to the point where they should be soon, but there's still thousands of trees are being planted in that way. And all you need to do is go on the internet and search for organizations that plant trees and donate to them. I'm going to put some links down in the show notes. Oh, I got a turkey vulture flying overhead. I can see them through the trees here. Oh, there goes the second one. Awesome. So anyhow, I will leave in the show notes some links to different organizations that will plant trees for you, and you can choose where to plant them. They have different locations if you want to keep them in the U.S., if you want to plant them in South America in the rainforest, or you can have them choose wherever they're needed the most. I will leave those links in the show notes. And any donations that I take through my Ko-Fi page, the links in the show notes, every single donation is not going to support the podcast in May. Okay, any donation in May is going to plant trees. Donate through my Ko-Fi page. Like I said, during May, I'm not going to take any of the money towards the podcast. All of the money is going to go towards planting trees in May. So I'll put a post on my Facebook page, and I'll probably set up a donation thing on my Facebook page as well, and all that money will go to plant trees. So let's get those trees planted this month. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed listening to the podcast, and I encourage you to get out and thank those trees. Oh, look at that great big shagbark hickory that I'm standing in front of. I can't resist. I got to go over and hug it. I encourage you to go out and hug these trees. Wow, that's a big shagbark. Go right up to it and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and we have 2 black cherries growing out of the same base. Oh, that's massive. Thank you, black cherry tree. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all the air you give me. Okay, back to the trail, sorry. So I really encourage you, get out and thank the forest, thank the trees. Thank them for all that they do. Go up and hug a tree. Become a tree hugger. Yeah, tree huggers are awesome. Thank you for all your support. And like I usually say, invite your friends. The more the merrier. And information about how you can support the podcast is in the show notes. Merchandise. And there's also some great nature journals that you can get for you or for kids. I have some guided journals for kids as well. So they make great gifts for the kids. So so check out the show notes. All the links are there. And above all, have a great day and get out and explore the nature around you.
Did you know that plastic is made with oil, a fossil fuel that pollutes the environment? And did you know that only about 15% of all plastic is recycled into new products? Wouldn't it be awesome if we could live our lives without plastic so that we could stop harming the planet? Well, there's a company that wants to help you do just that. Life Without Plastic sells products that will reduce or eliminate your dependence on plastic. They have a large selection from toothbrushes to food storage containers to drinking straws, all plastic free. And it's reasonably priced. So what are you waiting for? Check out all these great plastic-free products and help save the planet. Just click on the link in the show notes to find out more and to start your journey to being plastic-free.